mind coming
Of course.
right in front of your face?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Here we go.
Perfect.
Moving to a club like Fulham that time was a little bit weird.
Top class goalkeeping from Edwin van der Sar.
Top goalkeeper.
One of the very, very best in the business.
If they want me, they know where to go now.
I didn't envy anybody who was following in Peter's footsteps.
I wanted Edwin to come after me.
There was a $2 million buyout clause in his contract. I think he's the answer.
Hello Edwin, Sir Alex Ferguson. You wanna...
Edwin arriving was almost like a cornerstone of what was going to come over the next few seasons.
What a save by van der Sar!
He had a keen eye for making big saves.
To finish your career with silverware, that's what everybody wants.
Many promoted sides are tipped by the bookies for immediate relegation. With Fulham, on the other hand, it's a finish in the top 6.
It's a terrific team. Jean-T Garnard just took over as well, but his methods and him and his staff, how they took hold of the squad and it just changed the mentality of the group. We were a great side, and the promotion season was a tremendous season. The ambition of the club was the reason I'd signed it. This was a club that had gone through the leagues. The talk wasn't of survival, it was about let's aim as high as we possibly can, let's have no ceiling what we can achieve. Can we break records that the club hadn't achieved before? They wanted to bring in some of the best players in the world, and the transfer window started quite slowly. Then we went on a little bit of a spree where I think we signed 6 or 7 players in about 10 days.
A big signing in every sense. Edwin van der Sar is the best part of 6'7" tall and a world-class performer. 44 caps for Holland, a European Cup with Ajax, 2 seasons with Juventus, but now relishing the Premiership.
Looking forward to playing in big stadiums. That's what the Premier League is well known, of course, of the football, but also the fantastic crowds. The great start of my career at Ajax. Most of the players, big players who won the Champions League left earlier. I left in '99 to go to Juventus. That time there was already some interest from the UK already, from England. But I wanted to try something different. Italy, the art of defending, I wanted to try that. Didn't really work out, to be fair.
New type of goalkeeper that we didn't see before. You know, great with the feet, but also a great saver with the hands. He did a great seasons with us, both of them. The fact that we didn't win as a Juventus in those 2 years, of course, bring, you know, dark memories.
I wanted to move, they wanted to move on. They got Gianluigi Buffon, so I needed to move. And there was some interest from, I think from Liverpool, from Borussia Dortmund, but they wanted to wait till the end of the transfer window. And for myself, I wanted some clarity earlier, to be fair.
We were a little bit surprised because, you know, you don't change goalkeepers so often. If you find a really good one, like Edwin was, you stick with that.
You mentioned interest from Liverpool.
Yeah.
How far did that go?
I had the conversation was over for a day. Saw the stadium, I think it was with Gerard Houllier at that time. Spoke to the chairman, spoke to 1 or 2 players. At that point, I wanted to take a different path, to be fair. So there was some interest, but not really concrete, and there was some interest from Fulham. We made it concrete at a certain point.
I had this opportunity to buy, and I think it's better for the club to go to the top level.
I talked to him about the football, the game, what he's expecting, how he wants to play, that sort of things. And he came very realistic with the game plan.
The shock is also the right word. When you played almost 10 years for Ajax, you won everything, you won the Champions League, you came at us and you showed that your perform are good. Yeah, maybe you made some mistakes that cost a lot in terms of the memory of the people. You are a great goalkeeper with huge experience, so moving to a club like Fulham that time was a little bit weird, let's say. You think that you can join a team that has different goals.
When he arrived, everyone was a bit surprised. Of course, that all of us took that like a bit like a joke. Van der Sar signed, then he tried to sign some other top names that end up not coming, but the aim was like Edgar Davies and Seedorf, players like that, but end up not happening. but okay. We got Van der Sar at the end. Definitely we had one of the best keepers in the Premier League. Yeah.
It was not the most logical choice, to be fair, of my career. I needed a fresh start. I wanted to play every game. I was still playing for the national team. That was really important for me also to be with the national team with Louis van Gaal. Of course, I spoke with Van Gaal. I said, listen, I'm probably going to move to let's say a smaller team, and most of the players in that era in Holland, they played at Man United, at Juventus, at Barcelona, big clubs. Does that have any consequences for my international career if I play for a smaller club? So now, as long as you're playing in the Premier League, and I think you're getting more work to do at a club like Fulham than at Manchester United or at. So for me, if you play, then you're my goalkeeper also for the national team, and that was for me really important also.
To come from Juventus at the time, Juventus were a European superpower. For us to a newly promoted team, you don't usually get those type of players coming. To get that type of player in our first window was a big coup for the club.
Was it a gamble?
I wouldn't say it's gamble. Of course, the ambitions were there, and become the second best club in London. Won the challenge Chelsea. We didn't really know the background of Fulham. I knew of course, playing in a smaller stadium. Older stadium also, a historic stadium. They were just coming out of the championship. The ambitions were high. Of course, different surrounding, different culture, different establishment regarding clubs as Ajax or Juventus, completely different. But I had a great time.
Top class goalkeeping from Edwin van der Sar.
Oh, it's a fabulous save. Wonderful save from Edwin van der Sar. Van der Sar again. That could be the headline today. Van der Sar.
What he used to do is he used to go out a lot earlier than the outfield players with the goalkeeping coach and the other goalkeepers. He would work extremely hard. And when it came to the footballers, the outfield players doing our technical work, warm-ups, passing drills, keep ball sessions, Edwin would join in and be really good. We did try some outrageous things in training.
Edwin was one of those keepers, like when you face him one-on-one, the goal just been like in a dry machine, just went smaller. Even the tips he was giving us, strikers, the things that could become most difficult for the keepers on situations 1 against 1 and all that. So this is what you call like a proper teammate.
I was hoping and expecting to play 1 or 2 years at Fulham and then take a next step to a bigger club in the Premier League. Like whatever, Arsenal, Chelsea, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to be in the Premier League, show your qualities and maybe move on from that.
You want to come back up here?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
He's pledged his future to Fulham until 2006, but for a phone call from Sir Alex, Edwin van der Sar might have been heading to join his former teammate Louis Saha at Manchester United.
I think when I would have had a call from Sir Alex or from Arsene Wenger that they're interested in something, then probably I wouldn't have signed here. That's to be honest. But they haven't called, so that stage is past. I'm not going to wait forever. I'm happy here and everything, and if they want me, they know where to go now.
It's great news for me, for the club, the support, everybody involved. He's been a good servant to Fulham.
I said I wanted to move, and that never really materialized. At a certain point, maybe you think, okay, this is the level where they don't need me, or is there any chances? And you have to wait. A goalkeeper is a specific position. It's not easy. A striker, you take one extra striker, an extra midfielder. You can rotate a little bit. With a goalkeeper, a first goalkeeper, there must be a position for you.
We understood that this was a top-level player, and when you're a top-level player, you have standards, you have demands, and you have expectations of yourself. So he was right to think about those clubs coming in for him, and rightly so. He's probably disappointed it didn't happen. We thought that he would have only been with us for a shorter period of time. For us to have him as long as we did was a bit of a shock.
How do you replace the irreplaceable? That's the question facing Alex Ferguson following Peter Schmeichel's amazing decision to quit English football at the end of this season.
We're looking around to try and replace him as best we can. He's without doubt the best goalkeeper in my time as a player and as a manager, and he ranks with the best goalkeepers ever.
You only have to look at the World Cup
but I thought the goalkeeping standard was fantastic. I say nearly every goalkeeper who took part in the World Cup could be something for this club.
The only thing I ever wanted was to play for Man United. It's a bit silly to leave Man United when you're there, but at the time I felt like that, and that was what I was going with.
I don't think it was an expected move by Peter from our point of view. So when that happened, you're thrown into a little bit of a quandary.
There were massive gloves to fill, first and foremost, so I didn't envy anybody who was following in Peter's footsteps. What he'd done for Man United, what he'd done for Denmark, you know, he was a fantastic goalkeeper, really was.
There wouldn't be many goalkeepers who you could get from somewhere instantly. I mean, I know they'd had 6 months to know that Schmeichel was going. They're not to a penny. They don't come off trees, people like him, sort of thing. And if you've got one, you don't sell him, and the top clubs wouldn't sell them.
Trying to find somebody that could play the amount of games consistently well like he'd done, because let's face it, Man United were in the latter stages of every competition, cup finals and run-ins for the league, you know, so you needed somebody that could have that durability, sustainability to the endurance of playing all those games and the concentration levels that was needed. So there was a few that came in that didn't work.
Mark Bosnich could be forgiven for thinking life's Bondi Beach. The Aussie keeper's picked up a reported £2 million just for signing on at Manchester United under the Bosman ruling. The only problem is, to earn it, he's got to fill Peter Schmeichel's gloves.
It's just given me the opportunity to be compared to arguably the greatest goalkeeper in the world in the last 8 years, and somebody that definitely, when you talk in terms of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, has to be mentioned.
A 6'4" blonde-haired continental giant, Massimo Taibbi matches the photofit of the Manchester United goalkeeper. He was considered as Peter Schmeichel's original replacement.
And he's got experience of being in Milan, and he's been in fantastic form at Venezia. It took a good bid for them to move.
But Taibbi has made a horrendous error.
United have broken the bank for the man from Monaco, and they reckon in the Gallic goalkeeper they've finally found a replacement for Peter Schmeichel.
It's a big club, big team.
Oh, Bartes, straight to Henry. Absolutely extraordinary.
The one that I can't fathom really was Fabien Barthez, World Cup winner. Everybody kind of thought he was one of the best around. At United, I just thought he was a bit erratic. If the number one in the world, probably at that time, doesn't come off, then you're starting to think, who do we go for now?
One of the most promising goalkeepers in Britain, how Alex Ferguson described Roy Carroll, who's left Wigan for Manchester United for an undisclosed fee.
I decided to come to United because it's the biggest club in the world.
You see that go in? That linesman has kept his flag down. Tottenham are furious. Clearly over the line.
Manchester United fans look likely to see a lot more of their new American goalkeeper over the course of the coming season. His new manager is already happy to contemplate playing Tim Howard as his first choice.
Well, I think the important thing is that Tim will be given the opportunity.
People who love soccer there in America can't fathom what Manchester United is really all about.
There was probably too many mistakes in all of them, whereas they hadn't been used to that with Schmeichel. Whether the pressure was too much for them, whether what was in front of them wasn't as good as it had been, it's hard to know, but there were poisoned chalice at the time.
In the beginning it wasn't really that important because they still won the next Premier League. It was only at some point where it began to be a problem where you think, you know, to win that trophy you need strong people in every position. The brief for the Man United goalkeeper is always to win 10 to 11 points. These are not my words, these are the manager's words. It was a massive task to fill his void, and I think they felt the weight of that on the shoulders because everyone was compared to Peter.
I was actually on the brink also in '99 when I signed for Juve. Just when I think we had a more or less verbal agreement. I got a call from Manchester if I wanted to come over the next day. And at that time was still, I think, before they won the Champions League. I was already done and dusted with Juventus, so that's why I signed there and didn't really expect, to be fair, to come to that level again at such a late stage in my career.
When I was out socially, I was getting a little bit of stick from United fans saying, how come he's in here and how come he's in there? I don't want to go into names because it's not fair. But I went to Sir Alex and I said, listen, if we're going to bring a goalkeeper in, let me decide who it is. And he looked at me and he went, are you sure? And I went, well, I'm positive. I said, I'm the one that gets all the stick out there when I go for a pint. I went, so let it be on my shoulders. And he went, right, I'll leave it with you then.
It is a bitterly cold evening at Craven Cottage, but in recent times Fulham have had results to warm the spirit against Manchester United.
I'd known about Edwin for a long, long time. In fact, when I was at Sunderland, he was in the Ajax team that come and opened the Stadium of Light. I'd watched every game that he'd played for Holland. I watched his move when he went to Juventus, and then he came to Fulham, and I always thought, no disrespect to Fulham, but I always thought he was bigger than Fulham. Go into the manager's office after a game and speak with their staff and either say well done or hard luck or whatever. Chris Coleman was in there and his staff, and obviously the goalkeeping coaches or ex-goalkeepers gravitate to each other. So me and Dave Besant are having a beer and having a chat, and I just asked him outright, I said, what's Edwin van der Sar like to work with on a daily basis? And it was a glowing tribute to Edwin. So I took it all on board, and then he said one thing that just resonated with me straight away and got my taste buds tickling, was the fact that there was a $2 million buyout clause in his contract, and he was worried somebody was going to come and get him.
Thanks, Bez. We lost our world-class goalkeeper by you divulging that, but we'll let you off with that one. It's a saying that I've heard from many of the coaches who I've worked under. You can't hate good players, you can't hate bad players, and Edwin was a top player, so everyone knew about him.
I couldn't wait to get on the train. The staff sat together when we got on the train and said, I've got us our next goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, in them days we did a lot of train journeys rather than coach journeys, but obviously the topic of conversation on that instance was were we looking for a goalkeeper? And when you have someone of the quality of Edwin, who's got all sorts of experience, you know, playing in Europe, when that comes on your agenda, you have to seriously discuss it, and we did.
And they all went, he's 35, isn't he? Is he 35 or 36? I said, I don't care. I think we need that stability that we've not had since Peter. I think he's the answer. And then a couple of days later, I was in the manager's office, and he said, are you sure about Edwin van der Sar? He said, I've been giving it a lot of thought, and I went, positive. I went, he is what we need at this present moment. He rang David Gill. He was on the speakerphone, and I went, David, it's £2 million. I went, it's not even a gamble.
Van Nistelrooy had a word with Sir Alex at the end of the season. What direction for next year, what we're going to do, where we're going to strengthen. And at that point, I think he mentioned my name, and from there on the ball started rolling. I was in training camp with the national team. I come back from training and voicemail, you have 3 new messages. Hello Edwin, Alex Ferguson. I couldn't hear the rest, so you want to hear this message and press 3. Okay, press 3. Hello Edwin, Sir Alex Ferguson. You want to... So I called him back and he said, how you doing son? Really like you. We want to have a more experienced goalkeeper who can lead the defense. I think we have fantastic players, but we need there's like a missing link, and we want to that you solve that position that we have open. So I think in a couple of days, I think David Gill come over. We made the contract, and I think on Monday it was out.
On Wednesday against Finland, Edwin van der Sar will win his 100th cap for Holland, and his preparation couldn't have been sweeter here in Amsterdam, securing his dream move to Manchester United.
A long time they tried a lot of goalkeepers, and I will do my best to maybe to reach half of it what Peter achieved at Man United.
I wanted a 3-year deal, and David Gill didn't want to go any further than a 2-year deal. But hey, nice move to Man United. 2 years playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world in the Premier League. The chance of maybe finishing your career with some silverware.
Of course, it was a bargain. Definitely a keeper to be there playing Champions League. Not because it doesn't fit Fulham. Of course, it does fit Fulham. It is top of Fulham, but definitely deserve Champions League football.
These are the hands that Manchester United fans hope will ensure an end to the club's goalkeeping concerns. Edwin van der Sar, the latest to take the #1 shirt, the Dutchman confident he'll be able to cope with the pressure of playing at Old Trafford.
I'm not 20 anymore. I know how to deal with that. I will do my best I can to win things for this club and to try to achieve just a little bit what Peter achieved over here.
2 million for Edwin van der Sar, that is fantastic. It was peanuts. It was absolute peanuts.
Edwin arriving was almost like I'd say a pillar, a cornerstone of what was obviously going to come over the next few seasons. Even at his stage of his career, he was just super calm, really composed, and I think the manager probably thought some young defenders, this guy coming in, it just seemed to be a perfect fit. And obviously he'd been successful in his career as well. There was a kind of a whole package coming in, and ultimately a brilliant goalkeeper too.
To be fair, from the first day it felt like a warm bath. It felt like if I'm putting my own gloves on, everything fitted myself, and I think I fitted right into the team, into the surroundings.
His wardrobe took a massive grilling for a few months, and he just used to brush it off like it was water off a duck's back. I'm well used to this. There's different maybe cowboy boots and different footwear that he'd arrive in, and he was well able to take it, and like he was on the pitch, there was no problem.
Of course, as a player, you need to have belief, and but I didn't feel okay. I'm the solution. I'm not going to say I was the missing puzzle piece of jigsaw, how you call it, but it felt right.
He was so consistent in his training on a daily basis, consistent on game day. That's what you're striving for. When managers say to me, I just want a good goalkeeper, and I go, no you don't. I said, everybody's good at certain times, certain parts of the game. I said, what you want is a reliable goalkeeper, and he was so reliable.
It's a lot of things about hard work, dedication, luck, trying to fit into a team, and I was never about wanting to make a lot of saves. I was always about trying to organize my defense as good as possible. I'm not going to say I'm the best goalkeeper in the world, but I felt right at my place at the club at Man United.
What a save by Van der Sar! That's why they bought it.
Brilliant save from Van der Sar to claw that one away.
Wonderful save! What a save from Van der Sar! It's saved! And the huge frame of the goalkeeper is not beaten.
I wanted Edwin to come after me, but when I saw Edwin first time, I thought, this guy's special. He was adding something new to the game. He was the first goalkeeper that I remember who was equally as good on his left foot and right foot. Left and right foot was fantastic.
Probably before this passing out from the back came in and goalkeepers having to use the feet a little bit more, but Edwin was very, very good at that, and I think that was part of the decision, and so we felt comfortable with someone like that playing in that position behind the defence that we had at the time.
They say obviously over the years goalkeepers are crazy, goalkeepers are nuts, but I've still yet to see it from Edwin to play as long as he did and have that level of success, the dedication, that he looked after himself, especially in the gym, and the extra work that goalkeepers have to do in preparation. He had a great mindset for it.
We had a keen eye for making big saves. When you've got a good team in front of you, every now and again you have to make a big save to win a big game. And that was the point of probably Edwin.
You know that you're going to get tested at different stages. You're in every competition to the latter stages, physically and I suppose skillfully you're able to cope with it, but the big challenge then is to get over the line mentally, and I think it's fair to say Edwin would have been a master at that.
I only have to look at the record of what he did when he came in and where the club went, saved the penalty in the Champions League final against Chelsea. He had this, would you say, an aura?
If he'd have got him in 1999, he might have actually ousted Schmeichel as United's best goalkeeper ever.
I think if you're in the 6 years that I was able to play, I think we won 4 Premier League titles, we played 3 Champions League finals, we won 1 in 2008. So to finish your career with silverware, that's what everybody wants. I think when you start as a young player, you're ambitious, you want to be a professional player, you want to play for your national team, and then at a certain point you reach that, you want to win a trophy. After so many years, you still have that fire in yourself to help a club, to help yourself to come to maybe to another level again at a later stage and succeed with winning trophies. And and then getting respect from the, let's say, the football world for what you achieved as a player.
Sky Mobile sponsors the transfer window on Sky Sports News.